Watiyo matek mon wanene gima mekolo. Waweyo richo wakedo kodi wajo maber. Waweyo piny ka wasechopo wageno manyien. Watiyo, watiyo, watiyo. Yo wanono onge moro. Yo wanono onge moro. Yo wanono onge moro. Watiyo, watiyo, watiyo. Inanwa wadilari. Inanwa wadilari. Iwindwa wadilari. Watiyo, watiyo, watiyo. Inanwa wadilari. Iwindwa wadilari. Inanwa wadilari. Watiyo, watiyo, watiyo.
What an amazing intro that was. Thank you so much for that, Amber. And welcome everybody to SOMA Breath, our once a month power hour. We have more and more people entering our room. I invite you all to please put your cameras on. Hello to everybody watching us on YouTube as well. The link has been dropped for you to join us in our Zoom room. So let me just put this on gallery view so I can see all of your beautiful faces. And okay, I see Niraj in the room. So now I'm really at all sorts because I saw somebody called Chilma enter the room. And I swear I thought that is Niraj pretending to be me. And it's not. So there's somebody else that's pretending to be me because that is my nickname internally at Soma Breath. Okay, is Chilma. Niraj, I invite you to unmute yourself. All right.
I want to know who Chilma
I want
is.
to know who. I swore I thought it was Niraj.
That
Straight away,
is
I went to look for you in the room and I didn't see you.
that is absolutely
Chilma, you have to show
hilarious.
yourself.
Come on, turn on your camera. I want to know who's Chilma.
I think it's got to be somebody from Soma Breath. Has to
Or
be.
maybe it's really their name. You never know.
I know this is what I want to find out because this is my nickname, just in case anyone's wondering. Okay,
Yeah,
but
because Wilma's so chilled out, we have to call her Chilma.
welcome, welcome everybody to Soma Breath. Today's session is because we had the Black Friday promotion last a couple of weeks ago. So many people were asking questions about what our instructor training actually is. And so we thought, what better way than to actually gather together, speak to the founder of Soma Breath, Niraj Naik, why this all came about. And I wanted to ask, I thought we'd start this off, Niraj, by saying to you, lots of us go to classes, sessions, somewhere to learn, right? Whether that be a sport, something to do with our health, and we don't go there and we enjoy it. We take a lot from it, from these other sessions, but we don't necessarily think, now I want to be a coach. I want to be the person teaching. Yeah, I want to be the instructor at the gym. I want to be the teacher at school. And yet we have this tendency within our community where a lot of our instructors have come from doing one of our courses, like doing one of our
Yeah,
programs, namely the 21-day awakening journey. And something is obviously there that ignites inside them. And some of them never came with the intention of ever becoming an instructor, yet
yeah.
something, connected them. And I thought that would be a nice way of what is the magic that attracts people to want to actually become an instructor. And I hand over to you while I
All
let
right.
more people into the room.
Well, everyone has a different reason for joining, but I think it comes down to the fact that it's a technique that creates such a mind-blowing result in people that you automatically are compelled to want to share it with other people. Like when I first started doing this years ago, I actually just did it with, like, most of the time it was free of charge, and it was in Thailand on the beach, and I was doing it like group workshops with like 4 or 5 people, and then sometimes it grew to like 20, 30, 40 people, and then it ended up with 200 people at our own festivals that we were running. And this was all done just with no intention of being a instructor or a certification person who certifies people. My whole intention was actually just to get this epic experiences to as many people as possible in my little community in Copenhagen. And basically, every time I did a session, somebody would come up to me. Sometimes, like, there'll be a queue of people come up to you and ask me, "Do you have a certification course? Can you certify me on how to do this?" I didn't even know. The only thing I knew there was certifications for was like yoga, because in Copenhagen there's loads of yoga teachers. I didn't know there was like certifications for other things like breathwork. So when people were asking me this, I was like, "What do you mean, certify you?" And then in the end, just I got pushed into it. So it wasn't really something that I planned. It was just from sheer demand. I think because the technique itself creates such incredible feedback and results. People fall in love with it after just one session. And then other people go through our courses, which is more of a step-by-step sequence of techniques that are designed for a specific result. People like report like healing themselves from chronic diseases, you know, of depression, of finding their own, you know, direction in life for the first time. And so many amazing stories we get all the time, and that compels people to join, obviously. I'm sure there's other schools and other people who get similar results. But for me, I've just seen it happen just, you know, even with a 20-minute session after one track, one round. So there's something about it. And as I said, it wasn't like I planned all this out. It was totally, I call it the divine flow. It's like channeled to be here right now and do that. Yeah. Cool. Does that answer the question?
Yes, it does. I'm still focusing on Chilmer.
Who is it?
I
They won't
don't
even
know.
tell us who it is.
I suspect Orlando as well, but it could be. But Chilmer says that they tried to put their camera on, but it's not working. So I'm going to be trying to chat away and see if we can get that. But anyway, yes, I think it's amazing that it was kind of unplanned and it is the divine flow. So I don't know how you'd like to lead this session. If you want the community to start asking you questions about the instructor training. I know we have a lot of instructors here as well who will be very happy to give their experience to us. But if there are any community members, either on YouTube or in Zoom, who'd like to ask a question, just put your hand up and we will invite you on to speak. Don't be shy. And otherwise, Niraj, I don't know if you just want... Oh, yes, we have got somebody. Nicholas Thurkins. Yes, if you could unmute, please.
My name is actually Allie, but I'm using someone else's computer.
So as long as it's not Chilmer's, it's okay. Happy to have you on.
Thank you. I just started the training 4 days ago, and okay. I'm just curious about when in that training, like I just actually had my first call this morning with David, and I was just curious. He did explain that I started in level 0, and then he did explain that I could at the same time start with level 1. So I was just doing that for an hour before this call. And in the very first video, it says you can do that little video and then start going and teaching. And so I just wanted to know when I'd be able to do that, because do I have to do the whole, will it tell me when to actually go do that, or do I just do it? Because
okay, these questions are more for like the instructors and the mentors, but okay. In a nutshell, the way the course is designed, because this is probably going to be useful to other people, the way the course is designed is that once you finish level 1 and you pass the facilitation of like our energized breath meditation routine, you are good to go. You can start going out there getting clients. So you have to pass that facilitation step.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then once does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then once you finish the whole course of level 1, you can start also doing the breath fit protocol. You can start teaching. In fact, I recommend as soon as you start, because they're so simple, the techniques in breath fit, as soon as you've gone through the 14 days, just start practicing it with your friends around you or your family, and just see the results you get. If you know somebody who's got asthma, watch their asthma go away in 3 days. You know, just giving that first few steps, checking in with their breath all the time, reduce breathing, slowing the breathing down. Watch what happens after just a few days of doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Nice one. All right. Any other questions? Anybody else?
Questions? I also think a lot of it is to do with the fact that what you just said, it is simple techniques and you don't need any equipment. And so it is kind of a lifestyle change. Yeah. It's, you know, so you're addressing all of that, and then that becomes your lifestyle. And like you say, the asthma goes away or the stress diminishes. So it's something so tangible. And people can't really give an excuse to not.
Like one guy who he sent me a message. He did my my Mind Valley quest. I've got a quest in Mind Valley, and all he did, because of time, he didn't have much time. He just did the limitless dose, right? And actually, we have another story of someone else who just did the limitless dose, Rianne, and he just did the limitless daily dose, which you can get for free on YouTube, by the way. He only had time to do those for like 20 minutes, and just after a week and a half of doing that, he fixed his he had really bad adrenal fatigue, and his hormonal system had got messed up, so he had autoimmune symptoms as well, and all of this reversed, and he started to sleep properly again. So he was so compelled by this, he wrote to me and sent me a whole video testimonial, which was like crazy. And then Rianne, actually another story, she just did limitless as well, and she was literally about to be housebound on a, well, she was housebound.
She was bedbound. She was waiting
She was
for a
almost going to
wheelchair.
be permanently in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
She said she was puking up her own shit, like super gross. And she just did the limitless dose. She was on something like 30 pills a day. She went down to just a few pills. Yeah. And then she's back to normal, right? She lost loads of unhealthy weight,
Yeah.
and now she's fine. She's spreading the word. So it can happen very quickly. But I'm not going to say this is guaranteed for absolutely everybody. We can't make any claims, you know.
But we have a lot of testimonials.
Yeah.
Could you kind of like give, you started off with, is it Ali? You said your name is? Yeah, Ali. Just a brief overview of what the training is, like what's the entry level, and then what do you aspire to become, and what you can do at each level.
Okay. So yeah, that's a good point. So the way the course is designed is we start with functional breathing as the foundation of everything. So the idea is you learn all of the most important breathing techniques that will help you normalize your breathing and to correct your breathing and keep your breathing healthy from any impact of stress you might have throughout the day that will throw yourself off balance. Okay, so imagine that stress from all different forms is what throws our lifestyle off balance. And this affects our breathing. And our breathing is the mirror of the mind and the inner world. So the quality of your breathing is a reflection of your inner health. And we also can measure how healthy we are through breath hold times. So in the yogic practices, you measure somebody's age by number of breaths they take and how long they can hold their breath. So the longer you can hold your breath, the slower your breathing rates are, the more efficient you are at using oxygen. Oxygen is what actually makes us age, believe it or not. You see what happens to an apple, right? When it's left out, that's oxidation. It's what makes the apple age and go moldy, right? So this is actually going on inside each and every one of us all the time because of oxygen. And also on our skin. That's why eventually we get wrinkly skin, right? But oxidative stress is the stress created by oxygen burning to produce ATP energy inside every mitochondria, the cells of the engines of our cells. So what we're doing with Breath Fit, which is the first thing that you'll learn and go through, is training ourselves to be so efficient using oxygen that we need the least amount of oxygen to make the same amount of energy, right? It's like becoming super efficient at using oxygen. That then also helps you with that foundation to go much deeper into all the meditative practices, because meditation is the most potent where the breath is you're hardly breathing. But it's also most potent when you hold your breath after the exhale, because that's like pressing pause on your life, your thoughts, the mind, because life is a series of inhales and exhales. You press pause on your breath, press pause on life just for a moment. This acts like a defag switch for the mind. Meditation, in one aspect, acts like a defrag switch for the mind. It clears the clutter of the mind, right? And this can lead to profound benefits, spiritual, emotional, and also physical. But when you can hold your breath for like over 90 seconds after exhale, which we teach you how to do, you can release the SOMA within, which is our own version of like DMT. It's all the feel-good, blissful hormones and molecules that makes us feel like blissed out and tripped out in a positive way. That gives us a connection to the force that's a bit higher than ourselves. So we teach you over the process on how to get to that level, right? But it starts with functional breathing first. The second level, we go into therapeutic breathing. So we go into what I call neurosomatic programming techniques, where you learn to use hypnotic language, right? Guided meditation over the breath to invoke changes or to manifest, to create, all right? To be creative, all right? So this is the breath therapy part. And you learn other breathing techniques that are act like a pharmacy for you, like basically killing bad bacteria in the gut to lowering inflammation, lowering your blood pressure, all different sort of stuff. So that's like the level 2. Then we go into transformational coaching, which is more holistic. You learn how to coach people through proven protocols. And here we also have advanced neurosomatic programming techniques, which is bringing the body into change and transformation. So the whole point of the whole course and what we're trying to do for people is to help people transform into an upgraded version of themselves. So imagine that the mind is an operating system. The hardware is the soma, the body, the brain, and the nervous system, okay, and the physical body. What we're doing is we're upgrading the physical body in a way where we can install better software, right? Better programs, better habits, better patterns. Because like what happens with age, as we get older, okay, we get something called latency. This happens to all computers. Think of like the computer analogy I've just given you. The older we get, the more latency we get. The slower we become. We get forgetful, right? We lose our train of thought more easily. Like there are cases where the husband will forget the wife's name and vice versa. The wife will forget the husband's name. And this is the brain, unfortunately, because of age and oxidative stress degenerating. So the idea of what we're doing here is to bring the body into balance, right? And using the body as a code to control the mind, okay? And that way we can thrive into old age and not suffer. Again, with this, if you do all this when you're healthy, right, at a young age, you're going to get less gray hairs. Like, I wish I knew this stuff years ago. That's why I want to teach my daughter this stuff as soon as she can learn. You'll get less of the stuff, you know, the symptoms of oxidative stress, which is like inflammatory diseases, chronic diseases, and all of these things. You become sharper, you'll be more focused, you'll have more of a control of your emotions, so you can be more in the flow. And we also show techniques, like these are the more like magic techniques, which aren't really magic, it's just science, where you can switch on alertness in minutes. Let's say you're drifting off, you're daydreaming, you really need to pay attention, boom, you can switch on alertness a few minutes. Let's say you want to go to sleep and have a deep restful sleep, boom, within a few minutes, you can do that. Let's say you're somebody who suffers a lot from digestive issues, you can improve your digestion in a few minutes. So we have a whole pharmacy, I call it breath pharma, of all these different techniques that will teach you all of this and a lot more. So I think this was a big overview of the course, but you can see it's a lot that's gone into it. Plus, it's a way of life. So you have the healing side, but you also have the fun side. You have the recreational drugs. Let's say that these are all different types of drugs. You have the blood pressure medication, you have the gut medication, you have the anti-inflammatories, you have the digestive pills, you have the laxatives, you have all these different things you go to a pharmacy for, but you also have the recreational drugs. You have the MDMA, you have the psilocybin, you have the DMT, right? You even have cocaine if you want. I can show you that. I can show you how to get a cocaine hit in a few minutes. So you're getting a whole pharmacy, because the thing with the philosophy of Soma is this: it goes back to the ancient times of the Vedic golden age, where yogis were addicted to this substance called Soma. Nobody knows quite what it was. Okay, some substance they'd consumed. There's lots of theories, but according to legend, the Soma runs out. Right, it starts to run out, and when the Soma starts running out, because it makes them immortal, because it gives them like this infinite like connection to the divine and this absolute blissful experience of life, they freak out. They're like, whoa, I'm going to die if I stop taking this stuff. So if it runs out, what are you going to do? So God Indra, who's the most addictive of all, orders them, all the rishis, all the gods on the planet in this golden age, to go inward to discover how to create the Soma from within. This is the origin of Tantric Yoga, all right? And Tantric Yoga is the foundation of all of these now more mainstream spiritual practices, from mainstream yoga to Kundalini yoga to Buddhism to Tibetan Tantra to you name it, Qigong. All of these things originates from this primary root of Tantric Yoga that's thousands of years old. Nobody really knows where it actually comes from or originates from, but you know, there's just theories. But what's happened is that over time, finally, scientists are catching up with what the ancient rishis knew, and they're starting to prove some of this stuff, because thank God, a lot of these techniques got preserved in places like the Himalayas, where I was very fortunate to go and train and learn, you know, with a Himalayan yogi and medical doctor who taught me the real scientific understanding of the breath and yogic asana and other yogic practices, which is the foundation of what we have in SOMA Breath. Now, we have now lots of material modern versions of Soma. So we're all addicted to stuff now, but in different forms, from the internet to iPhones to apps to computers to you know, Instagram, right, to like pharmaceutical drugs. So many of us are dependent on these drugs for our existence, for life. So we've kind of moved away from control of the inner world, because the corporations have all said, no, we'll take care of your happiness, we'll take care of your health, we'll take care of you know, how your inner world is controlled. And what's happened is we've been educated out of this ability for us to master our own bodies. Okay. And again, now with this whole field of psychedelic therapy, many people are getting addicted to plant medicines. It's just transferring one addiction to another. So what I realized was that human beings are just addictive, whether we like it or not. We're all very addicted to stuff, you know, some more than others, but on the whole, everyone's got some kind of vice, something that we're all dependent on for our happiness. Okay. So my whole mission is, and actually this came from my uncle. My uncle said to me once, because I had a big problem with alcohol, but believe it or not, I was like an alkie and did all kinds of crazy stuff. And he said to me, you know what, you're always going to be an addicted person, because you're an artist. Musicians are always addicted to something. So, you know, what you need to do is transfer your obsession for alcohol to something more rewarding and fulfilling. That was one of the turning points that made me switch to discovering more sustainable practices for happiness and bliss. And this is a part of the journey of me discovering what I know now. All right. And so all my dependencies and addictions to alcohol and drugs and all this stuff has faded off. You know, I'm not into that anymore. Now I found a better way. So my mission really is like, look, we don't need to be dependent on all these external somas that are out there. We don't need to be dependent on the pharmaceutical industry or plant medicines or stupid things, recreational drugs, to be happy. We can be naturally high, happy, and healthy just with the breath and somatic practices. So SOMA Breath's mission, the core mission, is to train as many people to first transform themselves so that they can then go on and give this gift to others and see the change. Because I want to see the world change and become more sustainable, healthier, and happier. Because really, right now is the best time ever to be alive. We have so much to be grateful for. The fact that we can even do these videos, we can, we don't have to cook our own food. We can go in to a restaurant, down the road that makes amazing food. The fact that we're connected so easily and we can work from anywhere, that's never been possible before. And actually, it's the time where we have the least war and conflict, even though it doesn't look like it, right? Because you just have to turn off the media, right, and tune into facts and reality. You'll realize it's the most peaceful, abundant time ever in history, right? So don't be scared. There's a lot of amazing, amazing tools out there. We're just one of those amazing tools you can train in, and you can use this to better your lives of others, and also build a really fulfilling career in the process. How's that?
That's very good. I like the way you end each one as an assessment. Very good. That was very good, Niraj. I think also we should say that once you qualify as what we would first call a level 1 instructor, you can already start working as you progress within the training. So it's not like you have to wait till you finish,
Right?
Yes, we can hear you. Niraj?
Lost you.
Right. Okay, are you guys hearing me?
Lost everyone.
Hearing me? Yeah. Maybe Niraj's Wi-Fi? Let me see, maybe he might want to leave.
Oh, my internet went a bit funny.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, so we were just saying about how you could be a level 1 instructor and already start the training. It's not something that you have to wait till you've finished the full certification, right?
Yeah. So the course is designed in a way to get you out there. The course is designed in such a way is to get you out there doing sessions within 30 days, because this is the best way to learn. It's not by sitting in front of the computer reading theory, it's by practicing, doing, taking action, right? And getting over your confidence blocks and fears of stepping up. Once you step up, do a few sessions and you do it and you're like, wow, this was much easier than I thought, and everyone loves you and you're getting loads of raving fans, your confidence levels go through the roof, and then you'll start to really use that energy to get through the course in the right way. All right. So I always learn everything by doing, taking action straight away. You minimum learning of theory and maximum putting it into practice.
And thank you, Niraj. And also, don't feel alone. You might think, well, yeah, this is for me, but where do I start? Yes, they say I can go out and do classes, but where do I even start practicing? And we have great support within our instructor community. We have a dedicated WhatsApp group, we have the Facebook group, and instructors are really connecting now. And they're like saying, hey, I'm doing a session. Doesn't matter where in the world you are, because these, you can do online sessions as well as in-person sessions, and they are supporting each other, going to each other's sessions, learning from each other, giving feedback. So you don't feel alone at all, right? And you have lots of like-minded people around you. You go through the troubles together, go through the nerves together, and you just build each other up. And it really is supportive, because it's not a community where it's just new instructors. All the experienced instructors are in there as well, so you can all learn from each other, right? And let's just shall we ask Dina, so that we can hear a different voice, not just mine and Niraj's. Would you like to unmute, please, and put your question forward?
Hi,
Welcome.
Wilma. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hi, Niraj. Very glad to. How are you, Niraj?
Very good.
Awesome. Very glad to meet you. I feel that you have been all over my laptop and phone because of the videos that I started to watch for a few weeks now. I'm also a new student. I subscribed a few days ago, and before that, I actually did the quest that you mentioned earlier on Mind Valley.
Cool.
So that's
What do you think?
it was great. Actually, I did it as well in a short period of time. I tried to go over all the content and did some of the meditations, and I did the limitless dose you were talking
Yeah.
about. And I actually, the first thing I did, I think it's the first video before even the quest is starting, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's the
Anyways,
first free track, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I enjoyed it a lot. And as you said, the effect is immediate. It's very powerful.
Yep.
It made me wanna enroll. But yeah, so I did the quest, and now I started a few days ago. I have two questions. So my first one is how to start. As Wilma was saying, I know there are a lot of resources, but it's just how to start. I'm a yoga teacher, and it's not like for a year now. And I remember when I first teach my first yoga class, I was stressing out, and like I was preparing it like it was an exam. I was trying to learn by heart the text and all the guided the guidance, I would say, that was gonna accompany the asanas. And so I know how it feels to teach something for the very first time, but I was wondering with SOMA, with the breath work, how does it work? And my second question is, because I attended Jackie's breathwork session, and I want to know what is the role or the place of the text, the guidance in the whole experience. Like, do we really need to work on that because it's gonna be our voice, and it's like the content as well, even though people are breathing in and out, but they're still paying attention to what is being said. So I was wondering, like, what is the importance, or how can we address the text? Like, should we really write down? And what if we're not a good writer? And so, yeah, I want to hear you on this. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's like two questions. So let's do the first one. So you've started doing the training, level 1?
Yeah, I started, exactly. I'm into the level 0 now.
You're just starting, you're right from the scratch. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, well, it's very self-explanatory. When you get through it, you're going to learn the energized breath meditation routine, which is the sequence of movement and breath work together. The movement acts like a warm-up, and also it's a release. It helps release tension and stress and gets you really present for the breathwork component. And it's actually like a great morning routine that everybody can do. Everyone should do it, actually, as their morning routine. It's going to give you a daily dose of this therapeutic intermittent hypoxia that has all these incredible health benefits, like what you experience in the limitless track, right? So you're going to be able to facilitate this routine by the end of it. So when you go through the course, it will tell you exactly how to do each routine, right? And you get a mentor that will guide you through exactly how to do that, right? So you don't need to worry too much because you have a mentor actually guiding you anyway. He will make sure you're doing it correct. Then you will actually do it to the mentor as part of the assessment. So they'll assess whether you can do this. We also have regular practice calls with all the technology issues you might have that are addressed in those, and where you get a chance to practice regularly with a group, okay, which is a great, really, really important thing to do. Everybody should be doing this, right? So I mean, I can't really say like much because you haven't got to that point yet. But with the typical class is you will, if you're a yoga teacher already, do you use music in your class? Do you play off a Bluetooth? You need to unmute.
You're muted.
Sorry.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I use Spotify basically. I always use music during my classes.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing with Spotify. Okay, so actually the authorities are starting to clamp down on people using Spotify because it's illegal to use it in places that haven't paid a specific license to use Spotify music. That's why we create all the music for our instructors. It's license free, copyright free. And if you do the full training, you also in level 2 have the rights to put your voice over the tracks and sell them to your clients or give them to your clients, which means the clients have always got you in their ears. And this is a great way to create more bond with each person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the music side. So what you'd have, all you need is, if you're doing yoga class, a speaker, and you will have a template track which you've either produced yourself using our done for you templates, right? You might put a movement track in the beginning and then a breathwork track afterwards. Okay, that's typically how people do it. And you can pick and choose from our library of all different styles. Okay, and then you would just press play and lead the class, right? You do the teaching, you instruct how to do the method. That's the most important part, and then you lead the class. Now, all of our instructors lead it in different ways. Okay, some people, they hardly say anything, and all they do is they make sure the person's doing the method properly and reassure it throughout the track. So that's minimal guidance, and still people have spectacular experiences from just that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Other people are more therapeutic in the way they do it. They want to lead people to some kind of result. So it could be simply like the intention of gratitude. It could be to create magic, like manifest stuff. Or it could be
Mm-hmm.
to heal, create a healing experience, to self-heal. Others just do their own kind of style based on what they know. They may have other skills of guided meditation. They weave in that aspect. So it's very creative. You can do it how you want.
Mm-hmm.
But at the minimum, you just need to teach them how to do the technique properly at the beginning, and then just reassure it throughout the class. Just like you do in yoga class, you teach the technique and they follow, right? Same thing. Okay, and then you do adjustments if needed. That's it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That's the basic line thing. Now in level 2 is when you start to learn how to do real therapeutic change using neurosomatic programming techniques, which is using the body, breath, and your words and imagery to change and create amazing transformations. Okay, so that's level 2. It's more deeper, and that's what Jackie is doing. She's been doing our training for a long time. She's been qualified for a long time. She's really, really good, like super pro, and she makes her own journey. She mixes, and she's really, really talented. But she's been doing it for a long time, so it took her a while to get as good as she is. Like that session apparently was like really epic. So, but that wasn't always the case. So she got there over a lot of practice. You can also get there with practice. Like, I'm sure if you're already experienced as a yoga teacher, this is going to be easy. And here's the thing, the movement can also be yoga. So in the first ground zero that you're going to do, you will learn the SOMA Breath yoga, which is the traditional yoga where you're using the breath with the asana. You can use that as a warm-up as well. So it can be part of a yoga class. We have loads of yoga instructors using our method in their yoga classes.
That's also, it's one of my questions as well. How, like, are they combinable? But I guess they are, because anyways, yoga is all about inhaling and exhaling, and that's what we keep telling them each time, to go and to synchronize movement and breath. So I guess, but I don't know how far we can go, while moving our bodies throughout the class. If, it's not too much information for them, but it's still interesting.
Yeah, well, you start with yoga and then you end with breath work.
Yeah.
That's how.
Leave it space for each practice. Thank you so much, Niraj.
Dina, no,
Yeah.
I popped in to tell you that if
Oh,
you're an instructor and you're signed, do you have Big? Have you subscribed to Big,
yeah.
music
I
library?
do.
Okay. So you have access to the membership, and inside the membership, we have Soma Breath yoga classes. So I recommend that you go and visit that because that shows you exactly what Niraj has just said. We have Chantal Genekant who does the yoga lessons, and she starts with the moves, the technique of yoga with the breathing, and then she ends with a shorter breath work. So
Yeah.
Mm,
you can get a lot
that's
from watching
cool.
the lesson. And then for all the instructors is to join the Breathe Together Sundays, and you know you all have access to the membership.
Yeah.
Watch all those sessions because you will get a wide range of ways of leading sessions, and one will be yours because not everyone is Jackie. Not everybody has that matches her personality as well, right? And
Yes,
another instructor has a different personality and they have a different style of delivering. So you don't like have to imitate, but you will create your own way of
style,
defining your sessions. So
own flavor.
definitely
This
check out
this
the membership.
is this is originally
Thank
yoga.
you.
It all comes from originally tantric yoga. So
Pranayama as well.
yeah,
And okay.
Thank you for
cool.
your
Thank
question.
you.
It was a good, useful question because it doesn't
Yeah.
just apply for yoga; it's for all the other modalities that people. And you know, they're wondering how can you bring Soma Breath into it. It's actually very simple to combine them. So thank you so much,
And
Dina.
sorry, where are you based, Dina?
I'm in Morocco.
Oh, Morocco. Wow. Okay, we have
Yeah.
an amazing instructor in Morocco.
Actually,
Really?
I've seen that. I don't know her personally, but I know that she does a lot of things in the wellness
Yeah, she's very
realm
active.
of Morocco. Lamia, right? I guess.
Lamia,
I
yeah,
think
she's very active.
Lamia.
Yeah, check her out. She's
Yeah.
awesome.
Amazing. We will be. I hope we will be more than two in the upcoming months, years.
Oh,
You will
100%.
grow it for
Yeah.
sure. You'll
You
grow
should
it.
come to Morocco.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it for sure.
Niraj needs to be everywhere. Just a traveling
Uh,
suitcase. Just go from city to city and country to country. Thank you so much, Dina, for your
You're
question.
welcome. Thanks.
Nowhere better in the world than Morocco, says Lauren. So is that someone else who's out there in Morocco, maybe that we can add to the Morocco group?
I'm sure there's
Yeah,
some
so
other Moroccans.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I used to live there and go back 2 to 3 times a year. And are you an instructor as well, Lauren? Not yet. Not yet. I like that. The not yet. So possibility there. So is there anyone else who'd like to ask a question? Otherwise, I thought of bringing on a Soma Breath instructor. I was actually going to ask Michael if would you be interested in sharing your experience, because I met Michael on the retreat in Ibiza, and that is another way of connecting as a Soma Breath instructor as well. If you find the online learning a little bit too distant still, you need that personal touch. Our in-person trainings and retreats are an amazing way of the energy that leaves the centers just propels you and lasts with you for so long. We've just had the London training with Nigel and the Mexico training with Claudia, and the feedback and their team as well. Yeah, Brooke was there, Paulina, Michael, I don't remember his surname, was in London as well, but the feedback is it's still coming in on our WhatsApp messages. So Michael, would you like to join us? Because you're kind of fairly new, I guess, in our instructor world. So would you like to unmute and join us here? And this is my way of also just checking out what you're like for a Breathe
Michael.
Together Sunday. Hi there, Michael.
Again, was a while.
Too.
Yeah, first of all, I didn't know that it was designed to be in 30 days, but I can give a feedback. I was at the retreat, and 4 days after, I was actually certified instructor. So
yeah, because you did it at the retreat.
It goes much quicker.
Yeah, 30 days is like the kind of time frame we give, but you came to the retreat, so that's why.
Yeah, so 1 week at the retreat and 4 days after I was an instructor. That could be good for someone who was evaluating to do the retreat or not. And definitely you become a tribe in 1 week. It's a tribe.
Yeah.
It's a family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was
Michael's helping us behind the scenes on some technical jiggery pokery.
So, Michael, how did you, for example, how did you feel when you joined like SOMA Breath? Not necessarily as an instructor first, but as a community member and then an instructor. You were somebody who we didn't know who you were, right? And now you've got quite a presence as well because you know you're helping, you're supporting a lot inside the community. So how have you actually found the journey though of training and
Well, I met Soma Breath through Mind Valley, like I am noticing a lot of us do. I did a quest, and I was actually evaluating another company to become an instructor, and it just popped up once in a while, the Soma Breath, and I decided like, okay, I'm gonna have a call on this one and figure out what it is like. And I've had some problems from the other version of breathwork. I fainted once and hit my eye.
Yeah.
And, well, having the call made me like, okay, I wanted to go to Ibiza. I had the feeling I needed to go there, and the retreat came up as one of the options. And I was like, okay, this is why I'm actually here in Ibiza all the time. I'm gonna go there. And well, I started in the chat that you started up for the meeting in Ibiza, just quickly asking where am I going, what are we doing, how is it working, and I just felt welcome starting right away. And it was definitely just coming to people you don't know. You have no idea who they are, but they feel like family in a couple of days. You definitely have a lot of support, and it was wonderful. I got late because of the late arrival of the airplane, and just meeting Niraj and everyone at the dinner was a wonderful way of starting up, getting to know everyone. And we had so much fun. It was so much energy.
And then we did a festival afterwards.
Yeah, and I still have a really great example of what energy is like, and that's thanks to Christine, who made a movie of me jumping really crazy. That is the best way of seeing how much energy.
I want to see it. Send it to me.
Yeah, I will send it to you.
Cool. Cheers, brother. Thank you so much, Michael.
Take care.
thank you, Michael. Thank you.
Mike's actually helping us behind the scenes now with the more technical stuff. So he's like oh, let me tell you something about Michael.
Please do.
He actually has something very interesting about him. So there's a show called Superbrain, right? In the north, it's in Sweden, is it? Or Germany or something? I can't remember. But anyway, this show, Michael does this one thing where he is in ice, completely submerged, Wim Hof style, right? When he breaks his record for 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Now okay, Wim did 2 hours. That's not that impressive, right? But whilst he's submerged for 11 minutes, 11 seconds completely in ice, he memorizes 60 different cards with information on and recites them back like just within like minutes. He memorized the whole thing. Like, try and memorize 60 cards and know exactly what's written on every card in like 60 seconds. He did that in the ice. Like, that's the Iceman. That's the real Iceman. That's some X-Men shit going on.
You have a showstopper for all the retreats now, Michael.
Now, because he's like such a super brain, he's gonna use SOMA Breath to break some more epic records soon.
Amazing. Well done, Michael.
The brain stuff, I like that. It's cool.
Actually, I will be using the Soma Breath to enhance the memory techniques that I used before, and also the speed reading. I've managed to find some things that actually makes it become even more powerful, breathing the right way.
Amazing. Let's do it.
I hurt my shoulders, and I'm actually not doing the push-ups at the moment.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're gonna go for the push-ups on one breath record.
Wow, amazing.
It's not easy.
Our instructors have
Cool.
such interesting backgrounds as well. We could actually just do a show, as Christine calls these. They're no longer sessions, they're shows. We could actually do one on who our instructors are. I think it would be amazing, you know, like what's their backstory. But thank you, Michael, for joining us here. There's still people coming into the room as well. Is there anyone else that would like to ask a question?
Kitara has a good one.
Sorry, what's the name?
Kitara.
Kitara, where are
Yeah.
you in the room? Let me just put gallery view, then I can see you. Kitara, can you wave at me so I can?
Well, she texted the message.
Oh, okay. Is it in the chat or is it just directly to you?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yes, about
chat.
dementia. About
Yeah.
dementia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any experience with introducing SOMA breathwork to someone with dementia? Is there a very basic practice that can be used?
Okay, so yeah, let's answer this one then. All right.
Yeah.
So, what is dementia? Dementia is a neurological disease that affects the certain parts of the brain that deal with like long-term memory and physical kind of motor neuron issues as well. So it's quite a horrible thing to have to suffer from. It's really. My dad had a form of Parkinson's, which in itself is really horrific. The way it just degenerates the body to the point where they can't even move and they're a vegetable. So dementia is similar to that, but you go into like a childlike state. It's not a nice thing to have to experience. But what if we could prevent these diseases from happening? Okay, so I've actually, because of what happened with my dad, I've been really going into this in a deep way because I want to protect myself first and then share this with others. And I do believe, right, that autoimmune diseases like this and these diseases of old age, degenerative brain diseases, with the right system of getting it early, creating a lifestyle that prevents brain disease as early as possible will mean you have a lower likely risk of getting these degenerative brain diseases. And what will happen is you might get Alzheimer's, you might get dementia, you might get Parkinson's. It's not like there's like some specific, cause and effect. It's like wherever your brain is weakest is where your brains will degenerate. Your brain cells will degenerate in that area. Okay. So you might get Alzheimer's, you might get Parkinson's, you might get dementia. It's not like, clear exactly what you're going to get. And actually, to be honest, they're all fairly similar, like in terms of what happens, the progression and where you end up. So you don't want to get these diseases basically, right? If you can avoid it. You're better off getting something like heart disease, a heart attack, because then boom, you're just out, right? You don't want to have this slow, painful progression of a disease. It's really, really, really like painful and slow. So we don't want that. Okay, so here's what we can do about it. So there was a guy called Dr. Bredesen he created this Bredesen protocol for Alzheimer's. Okay, and if you look at that protocol, actually, it's pretty much yoga. It's Ayurveda and yoga. He recommends Ayurvedic supplements and yogic asana and breath control. It's basically yoga. So yoga, okay, original tantric yoga is the best approach, in my opinion, for preventing degenerative brain diseases. Now, what killed my dad was the corporate work that he was doing, where he was sitting down for long periods of time. He had a very sedentary lifestyle and straight up trauma from trying to survive in a very cutthroat corporate world, right? Suffering from a lot of racism, and then a failed marriage, then having to raise kids like me, who's completely insane, to, dealing with all of that. The stress I saw it explode in his brain. And there was this one day where we had to downsize our house because he had over mortgaged the house and ended up in lots of debt. So what got my dad sick, in my opinion, was stress, depression, sedentary lifestyle, and just being sat in front of a TV screen to numb his pain for long periods of time, right? The brain just cannot handle life anymore and it will degenerate, okay? So what do? You got to do the opposite. You got to do, that's the cause of all diseases, by the way. Everything my dad went through, if that's your existence, you've got to do something about it. You've got to change, right? You've got to do the opposite. What's the exact opposite of that? I'll tell you in a minute. And the checklist you need to do right from the morning of the day, right in the morning, is you got to ask yourself a question. Am I waking up enthusiastic to do a hard day's work, right? Or do I feel like I just have to do this? And you keep hitting the alarm clock to delay getting out of bed and you're late for work. The moment this becomes your norm, that's time you must change, okay? Because this is a sign of chronic stress. If you don't do something about this, right, you will get sick. It's inevitable. Happened to me, right? I was always late for work all the time. I never wanted to go to work, right? Now I'm the first one down in the studio, right? So, so the treatment starts there, right? That's the question you could ask yourself. Second, what can we do? So what we need is oxygen to the brain. Okay, now let's just do a quick exercise to show you what unhealthy breathing looks like and what healthy breathing that actually gets oxygen into your brain looks like. Unhealthy breathing takes oxygen away from your brain. All right, are you ready to do this? Do it together? Okay, so I want you for the next 20 seconds just to breathe like this. Keep going. So you're breathing into your chest and breathing like that, hyperventilating, like panting like a dog. Keep going. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. All right. How do you feel? Good? Not good? Lightheaded? Dry mouth, dizzy? Yeah. So what you just experienced there was less oxygen to your brain, not more. Okay? So any hyperventilation and mouth breathing will reduce the oxygenation of your brain because we let go of the most important gas in the body for oxygenation. It's not oxygen, it's CO2. Right? We have an abundance of oxygen. It's CO2 is the problem. We don't have enough CO2 because we're over breathing most of the time. A lot of us in very stressful environments are hyperventilating, right? And it's worse when you eat loads of food in a hurry and you've got a massive belly, you can't digest the food. And it's even worse, right? It's even worse when you are sleeping and you're too hot, you overheat, right? We live in a world now, which is obsessed with staying as hot as possible and having the heating on as high as possible. Even though they can't afford the energy bills, it's still kind of like an obsession for people. I know I go to my parents' house in England and it's roasting hot. It's like hotter than being in Ibiza, which is crazy. It doesn't make sense. So overheating, look what dogs do when they're too hot. They pant. They're hyperventilating. So anything that causes hyperventilation, a lot of it's anxiety, stress, worry, will result in overbreathing, right? Letting go of CO2. In pranayama, the prana is CO2, your level of CO2. So pranayama is all about increasing your ability to retain CO2 in the body so you get better oxygenation, more efficient oxygenation, okay, of all your body tissue cells. So that's how you get more oxygen to your brain. So let's do a second technique, all right? That's a healthier breathing pattern, okay? If you know somebody with dementia or the onset of dementia, all right, you can teach them this, and this can start help get the oxygen back to the brain, all right? So it's very simple. What you're going to do is going to do a silent, subtle inhale through your nose, a relaxed exhale through your nose, very slight. And when you breathe through your nose into your diaphragm, okay, just check that you're only breathing into your diaphragm, not into your chest. You're not going, that's not silent or subtle. That's heavy, deep, and noisy, all right? Silent, subtle is hardly looks like you're breathing. In through your nose, out through your nose. Then we're going to hold for 4 seconds, all right? And we're going to do this over and over. So in, silent, subtle. Exhale, relax. Where your diaphragm just relaxes. Hold, 3, 2, 1. In, silent, subtle. Exhale, relaxed. Hold, 3, 2, 1. In, silent, subtle. Exhale, relaxed. 3, 2, 1. Stop. How does that feel in comparison? Feel better? Calming, calming, calming. Yeah, relaxing. You know, the first one, when I asked a question, people didn't type because you couldn't even concentrate. Now everyone's typing. Got oxygen back to the brain. All right. So slow rhythmic breathing and relax, and even holding your breath for a few seconds after the exhale actually is how we get oxygen into your brain, which is what we need if you want to tackle dementia. Okay, right or wrong? Make sense? Yes? Okay, so what we've been brainwashed into believing, okay, is that deep, heavy breathing gets us more oxygen into the body tissue cells, like our brain. It's actually completely the opposite, right? And it's amazing how many doctors have no idea about this. It's incredible. You will not believe it. And what's happened right now is that more and more doctors are coming to learn how to, use the breath with their patients and themselves, because there's such a void in the medical educational system, that there is now a whole WhatsApp group in the UK with doctors, a SOMA Breath one. How cool is that? That was always my big mission, right? To get more doctors and pharmacists, medical professionals, because I come from that world, to do this stuff. And it's working, it's happening. So that's the simple way we can start retraining the breath, changing to be more silent, subtle on the inhale, relax on the exhale, with an automatic pause of a few seconds. Right? Now, there are other exercises you can do, right, to prevent dementia. So our Breath Fit course has all of these exercises in the form of SOMA Breath yoga and functional isometric training, which we call FIT. These exercises give you a daily dose of anaerobic exercise. Anaerobic exercise trains your mitochondria to become more efficient using oxygen, right? It's basically exercise where you reduce oxygen supply to your body tissue cells. And this actually makes you more efficient using oxygen. So you need to breathe less, not more, to keep the same amount of energy. So that's the type of exercise. Now, for brain diseases, what you want to do is focus on inversions. Inversions, right? So downward dog, okay? Just simply standing up and touching the floor with your hands, okay? Or headstands against the wall. Or if it's somebody who's old age, you might not be able to do that. You simply just create an inversion. Just go on your knees and put your head down. So you're in prayer pose, all right? So you're like in an inversion like this. Any inversion you can think of. Could even be lying off the bed, right, with your head down, right? For a few minutes to start with, and then building up, we'll get blood flow back into the brain, okay? It's amazing. It's so simple. It's all logic, okay? Put your head down, gravity brings blood flow to the brain, okay? So these are some simple things, exercise covered. Sauna is the best it's a hormetic stress exercise that conditions your brain to produce BDNF at an accelerated rate and growth hormone, accelerated rate. Saunas, 80 degrees to 100 degrees, right, centigrade for around 15 to 20 minutes. And do that a couple of times. Build up gradually. You might not be able to do 15 minutes straight away, but build up gradually and do it twice in a row, like 2 sessions, and do it several times a week. The more you do it, the better it is for the brain. Okay? Gets so much blood flow to the brain in a sauna as well because of the heat, the dilation. Okay? You can also use a supplement with it called niacin, vitamin B3, pure niacin, not any of the analogs like niacinamide or sustained release niacin. You've got to get pure niacin. Now Foods do it. A company called Now Foods. Okay. So you've even got supplements there. All right. Now, diet. You must, with Alzheimer's, dementia, brain diseases, digest your food properly. If you don't digest your food properly, it leads to bacterial growth and a disturbance of the microbiome of the gut. And this causes you to have a degeneration of brain cells, right? So you've got to digest your food properly. Now, how do we improve digestion? I'm going to give you a tip right now that's going to change your lives completely. Like, you'll be mind blown. If you don't join the SOMA Breath instructor training after this one little tip, right, you're crazy. I'm just joking. But seriously, it's that profound. So, right, what you want to do is, if you're going to eat food, if you're going to digest food, first thing, I'm going to give you a few tips here. First thing, you must chew your food properly till it's like a liquid. If you gulp food down in a hurry, your stomach doesn't have teeth. So it has to do so much work to digest that food. And that extra work leads to hyperventilation and too much energy being used for digestion. Okay? And this causes a lot of problems with your health. Okay? And your whole digestive system. My dad used to guzzle food down in a hurry. I've never seen anyone eat so fast. It's ridiculous, right? No wonder he got some kind of brain disease as a result. Okay? So you've got to chew your food like till it's liquid, right? That's one profound tip. Second profound tip, you need the digestive fire to digest food. If you don't hit enough digestive fire, the food just sits there and you end up hyperventilating, all right? And then you might get things like constipation as well, sluggish gut, okay? So what do we do about that? What's the magic bullet for digestion? This is it. It's going to blow your mind. You're not going to believe it. What are you going to do right now? You're going to test your nostril dominance. Are you breathing through your left or right nostril more easily? So one nostril will be easier to breathe out than the other. You can test it right now. For me, it's my left nostril right now, okay? Which is actually my parasympathetic nervous system. And it's also why I'm going off on a bit of tangent. But your left nostril is your dreamy, creative brain. Your right nostril is connected to your left hemisphere, and it's your sympathetic nervous system. It's your digestive fire. It's your action, alertness brain. So your right nostril, when it's more active, you're more alert, more focused, more present. Your left nostril, when it's active, you're more relaxed, creative, and more ready to go to sleep, right? Or be in a dreamy, creative world, okay? Or rest, rejuvenate. But for digestion, you need the fire switched on, okay? So you never eat your food, never eat food with your left nostril more active than your right. Never do that, okay? Because you will have bad digestion. You must always, either before or after, straight after you've eaten, switch on your digestive fire. So how do we do that? Well, we just switch on nostril dominance from left to right, okay? Easiest way to do that, okay, is Put your thumb in your hand like this, wrap your fingers around your thumb like this, and put your fist underneath your left armpit and push up. You can even close your left nostril. And just breathe like this for a few minutes. Let's do it together. So it should have opened up by now? Yep. Say yes if it opened up in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, great. Okay, so now your fire switched on. You'll probably find you're more alert now as well, more present, okay, more focused. So that's what you want. You've got to do it either before you eat or straight afterwards, okay, to digest your food, right? Now, that's one method. Another method is it's like a little power nap. You sleep on your left brain. You can also put your fist under your armpit if you want and just sleep. You don't even have to do that half the time. You can just put your hand under your armpit like that. And then just lie like that on your left brain, on your side for a few minutes. Okay? And again, it will open up. And that's a nice little power nap after the food as well, if you want. Okay? You'll feel really good afterwards. This will help your digestion so profoundly. And if you have things like constipation, it'll help that as well. And you'll be much more clear in your mind. A lot of the times when we overeat and we eat the wrong foods, processed foods, it's quite common that we get like kind of cloudy mind, foggy, not really feeling good, right? Lethargic. Okay, so what we have to do is just do this technique. Let's turn on your digestive fire and never eat food unless you've switched on your fire, or right after you've eaten, put it on. Okay, and that's what I'm going to leave it with, because there's so many questions here. I knew it'd start a load of questions. You have to do the instructor training to go deep on this. I'm not going to go any more deep in it because there's so much to it. But that's a little tip for you to really start getting improvements with digestion. And Alzheimer's and degenerative brain disease like dementia is directly linked to digestion. Okay, your quality of digestion, and whether you've got your fire in your belly. People who've been kicked in the gut a lot, right, throughout their life, like lots of failures, setbacks, they don't follow their gut instincts, they know they should do something, but they choose to ignore it. They get a lot of gut problems. Their fire goes out, right? Their digestive fire goes out, right? And that leads to all these brain diseases and other chronic diseases. Some people are going to get brain diseases, others are going to get blood pressure problems, obesity, and other issues. So yeah, I hope this is clear, right? So that's like a whole system of healing or preventing. Prevention is better than cure. Brain diseases. There's lots of Ayurvedic supplements as well you can take, like ashwagandha, rhodiola, brahmi. There's a bunch of different supplements you can take as well that are like Ayurvedic herbs. But in a nutshell, breath control, do our breath fit course, right? All of those techniques in there. Anaerobic exercise, it's all in there. Switch your digestive fire on when you eat. Sleep well, okay? Don't oversleep, but sleep well. And do inversions a lot. And don't sit down for too long. Don't sit down, right? Like for long periods of time. Sedentary lifestyle reduces the oxygenation of the brain, right? We want to improve oxygenation of the brain. So movement does that. Yeah. We also need to clear the brain junk. Rhythmic breathing, even just a few minutes a day, clears brain junk from the cerebral spinal fluid, right? So you need less of that in sleep. Bad sleeping habits at night, like sleep on your back, mouth breathing through your mouth, snoring, all of that will lead to brain diseases because you're getting less oxygen to your brain when you really need it in your sleep. All right, so there we go. That's my system. You took the prescription, give it to anyone you know who might be suffering or is on the way, you know, or is it of a certain age. When you get to 50 years old plus, you really should start changing your lifestyle to be more like aligned with this to prevent these diseases of old age, right? You'll see huge improvements in your life. Even if you do it now, like I think all kids should do this right from now because they're going to have such an epic life. Imagine, like, I wish I had this knowledge in my 20s. Like, I'd be so much more productive, successful in so many different areas, right? So, yeah, we need the kids to know this stuff.
Thank you, Niraj. That was really in depth. And what was interesting is,
but there's one
Sorry.
question, one point. Carlian made a really good point. The difficulties with dementia is that they don't remember to do all of this. Very good point. That's why you need to care for them. You have to make it simple, little bit. That's like something they can remember. Like you've got to give them some kind of clues on how to do it. But what you need to do, and like this is really important, you've got to help people before they get to a point where they've got dementia. Because once you've got it, it's much harder to shift. It's really hard to shift because a lot of the cause of the disease is emotional and it's from the past. It's like the brain's trying to forget traumas from the past, right? And so we have to like get it early so you can fix this relationship with the past. My dad was so depressed. He looked back at life with so much regret. He had no belief in God. He became atheist, you know, like very, very strict, like fuck God, basically. That's what his whole mantra was, like from the moment I knew him. I hardly knew my dad, to be honest. I got to know him better like when he started to get sick, to be honest, later on in his life, because he was so away, busy working, you know, and so depressed and watching TV all day long. So I never really had a connection to my dad. But I wish I knew this stuff years ago. He was actually one of my big supporters. And he always encouraged me to do whatever I wanted because he knew that he didn't have that privilege and he wished that I had that because he loved music. His big passion was music. So he got more depressed than me when I lost my raves and all that and ended up becoming a pharmacist. He was more gutted than I was because he was like, oh my God, because he has so many hopes
on you.
Yeah.
But that was like addressing when they don't remember to do any of the techniques that you taught. Somebody else asked, what do you do if they're not interested, they're not willing? Like, you know that this is going to help them.
You gotta get over it. You gotta not you can't force. This is the thing with spiritual practice.
Mhm.
What we're doing here is spiritual. Okay, it's giving people the power of God back to them, like power of self-healing, right? That's why we're instructors. We're imparting information. We're transmitting information. Now, if that person is spiritually blocked from receiving the information, then it's not your fault, and there's nothing you can do to shift them. The only thing you can do is set an example by
Yeah.
being the change you want to see, the representation of change, right? Then they might get an inspiration, but if they don't want to do it, it's not your fault. It's not anything you can like push too much, because what will happen is you'll get depressed and frustrated and angry, and then you'll end up going down that same vicious
Rabbit hole that,
pattern
yeah.
cycle of what they're going through. You don't want that. You got to break free. You have to be
Okay.
selfish sometimes. Sorry to say that, but it's very sad.
Something interesting I noticed in the comments were when we first started Power Hour, I think maybe 2 years ago, a lot of the community members that came in, it was to do with stress and anxiety, right? How do you use breath work to help with my stress and really hate my job, I hate this. This today has been predominantly about health. Like people want to use breath work. We have a cardiologist in the room who said he's trying to prevent heart attacks with the
Okay,
breath
so
work.
everything to the cardiologist, everything I've just said for brain diseases applies to heart
Applies.
disease. The number one killer in the world is heart attacks, right? So what the process of intermittent hypoxia does, which is what we deliver in our daily doses and our awakening technique, which is all about breath holds, is that it actually wakes up endogenous stem cells and nitric oxide, which creates a cascade of different reactions, which creates coronary collaterals. Coronary collaterals are heart's natural bypasses. So if there's any kind of block, bypass will form, a natural one, because of this cascade of events, which will mean that your heart gets stronger. And then anything that prevents oxidative stress and improves body tissue oxygenation is going to prevent heart disease. Yeah. So everything I've said and everything we teach in SOMA Breath is about looking after the heart, because that's the number one killer in the world. And everything I said about how we can let go of the past, hate, sorrow, grief, grudges, things that have happened in the past that is not your fault and no one else's fault, right? Through that awareness and ability to transmute the energy, we will prevent what is one of the causes of heart disease, which is the chronic stress of the impact of emotions that have caused a trauma within the nervous system, right? If we can let that go then and release it, we're much less likely to get heart diseases. Oh, one more thing on the dementia tip, and this is one very, very controversial one, but it's legit. You can look this all up. Low dose nicotine in the form of patches or vapes or lozenges is remarkable for preventing Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. Check it out. Ulcerative colitis, you don't get. Smokers don't get it. Long COVID does not exist in smokers, believe it or not. So they're doing nicotine therapies for long COVID and getting incredible results, right? Same thing with all these degenerative diseases like autoimmune, brain diseases. Nicotine has this effect on the acetylcholine system that seems to protect the cells from damage, right? From these things, these issues. Check it all out. You can check it all out. I have the studies are all there. You just look it up. Just look up nicotine and Alzheimer's, you'll see. Or nicotine and dementia.
This has been an amazing power hour. I think it went beyond what we were expecting it to be, because I think you concentrated so much on the benefits of what we teach. So for personal use and for, you know, what you can bring to the world and your local communities. And I'm reading comments of people saying, because you mentioned children as well, that it's something that you can bring in your families, right, with your own children, and make it that way of life. So it's almost second nature. It's just a natural way to be.
You know what's
Somebody,
really funny? You know what's really funny about nicotine? Right. Firstly, tobacco is like used ceremoniously from Indian rishis, sadhus to the native Indians, right?
yeah,
But there was a point when it got mass produced, and in that mass production, the marketing messages back in the day were doctors promoting cigarettes as a cure for so many issues, right? They were like, that fixes this, it does this, it does this, has so many. They were really promoting it. Then, a few decades later, they reversed it because they said there's a link to lung cancer, right? And now it's got to a point where every cigarette packet's like they put cancer all over it and horrific pictures to put you off from taking it. But what if, and this is a crazy theory, what if they actually want us to not smoke because that smoking prevents COVID and it makes you not have degenerative brain diseases, which is the biggest serious like money maker for drug companies right now? What if there is some shenanigans going on? I'm just putting it out there because look at the evidence that's out there. There's so many of them. It's even on the Alzheimer's website, like one of the top Alzheimer Foundation websites, right? So there's so much evidence out there about nicotine. You don't need to smoke it. Don't need to smoke it. That's what I'm saying.
well, I think that's a really good note to leave it on, actually. I think people have all copied that as research that they're going to do next. Thank you so much for everything that you've answered, because I know it's opening up even more questions on the community about specific illnesses. ADHD as well was mentioned, other autoimmune illnesses. All I can do is invite you to keep coming to these power hours. Sometimes we just have like an open floor where there is no topic as such. You just come in and you ask your questions and Niraj answers them. Angelita says, my grandmother got prescribed by the doctor in the 30s to have a cigarette a day for anxiety. And and I guess she lived to a ripe old age. And will this be available in the members portal? Yes, it will be. We'll leave it up on YouTube for a while as well. And it will definitely go into the replay section inside the membership. For anyone asking, like still having doubts, thinking, okay, I have a few more questions. The only thing that's like your next step is to book a free call with the reps who happen to be SOMA Breath instructors, so they really know what they're talking about. Okay, and have a call with them. It costs you nothing. Amber, if you could please just drop the link for the instructor training. Book that call, have that call, ask all your questions. There are different levels, as Niraj said, to our training, and you can mutually discuss what is right for you, for your personal situation, your financial situation as well, and move ahead with your decision. The retreats, by the way, we have 2 in February, 1 in Thailand, February 27th to March the 5th. Then we have Denver training from February 9th to February the 11th. And we've just had another Denver, Colorado training open up in April from the 19th to the 21st. So Amber, if you could just drop maybe that one link we have that will take people to all of the retreats that we have available. And these retreats and trainings are kind of like your fast track way to becoming certified. You still get all the online training, but this is just, you know, quicker because you will have your assessments live and in person with the instructor and already pass your level 1 and be able to start spreading this to the world. And well, Niraj did mention the other day that maybe we should do these more often. We did used to do them every Tuesday, and that was kind of like just after the pandemic and everybody stayed put. But then Niraj started traveling a lot. So he's a man with a suitcase. And so, you know, we at least bring it out to you once a month, but we will try to get more out to you. And then come and check out what the breath work is all about. If you still haven't experienced one led by Niraj. We have him, it's for our Christmas session on December the 17th at 12 p.m. ET. That's 2 hours after we started today, and it's on a Sunday. So please do turn up for that. This Sunday, we have a new instructor, Sarah Folter. She'll be showing you, Dina, for anyone who's new as well, you know, I recommend that you come and you have a look at what can be achieved as a recently qualified SOMA Breath instructor. And I think I have told you everything that you need to know. Christmas Eve happens to fall on a Sunday, so we will have a pre-recorded breathwork meditation for you, because a lot of people will be, you know, busy with their family and friends, and so we'll have a recording. That way you can tune in whenever you want to, and just know that we will still all be breathing together and connected somehow. Okay, the nicotine link is in there because I know that's what a lot of people want to know about. Really happy to hear that you're all focusing on your health, and like Niraj says, those health issues come with a lot of baggage from what's happened in the past, and our training is part of releasing that baggage. Okay, so, and it's really, really fun as well. The music, the intro that you heard was credit where credit's due to Niraj and his talented musicians that make all this music. And like he said, you know, use that music to get up and moving as well, because that is also part of your, you know, daily workout and health and fitness routine. So I think that is all for now. Jackie, who was on last Sunday, her breathwork session was outstanding. We've still left that up on YouTube if you'd like to go and watch it. Amber, can you drop that link in as well, please? And I have learned, I really like this part about the nostril dominance, because Niraj said he was left nostril dominant at the time, and I was right. So I think I was right nostril. So I think that's what makes the perfect combination and the teamwork in this room. So that was interesting to learn. So thank you so much, everybody, for your time. It was amazing power hour session. Niraj, thank you so much for these.
Yeah.
And take care, everyone. Hopefully
So,
see you.
yeah, just the last thing, like the most important thing for health is having fun. That's it. Like the most, like, on paper unhealthy people that I know who have the most fun are actually the healthiest, and they live the longest, right? I know some people, because I come from the music rave scene, where like older generation who have been through carnage, right? Like they've done stuff that you couldn't even imagine. They're still standing and they're fine and they're healthy and happy. And, you know, like, you don't have to be a complete health nut to be healthy. You just need to bring fun into your life. And here's the thing, if you have lots of fun, you focus on having loads of good fun every day, whatever it is, like sticking on some music and dancing or shaking or whatever, being silly, telling jokes, trying something new, doing new things is fun usually, like, you know, exercising the brain, right? Whatever you choose to do, you can just try and do, like, for this week, just try and find one thing that gives you a lot of fun and joy, and just do it, and do it a little bit every day, right? So focus on having fun a little bit every day till the next power hour that we have, all right? And we can see what that feels like, right? And see if you can inspire other people to bring some fun back, because one of the problems going on in the world is people are getting really sucked into the doom and gloom, right? Which is fine. It's okay to be aware of the crazy shit that's going on, but you don't want to get sucked into it where that becomes your entire reality tunnel. You need to shift and pivot to something that's more fun, and like it feels like kind of like passion. There's some passion to it, right? That, if you can find what that is for yourself, and it's going to be different for everybody, right? As long as it's sustainable. So it doesn't mean eating cakes all day long, right? Or doing lines of cocaine. Like something sustainable, fun. It could be learning a musical instrument. It could be playing some sport that you forgot about, or just telling jokes and not caring if somebody doesn't find you funny, and just going out and socializing and connecting with people. Whatever it is, there's so many different ways of doing it, okay? Just do it, and just see how your day changes when you start to bring that into your life, right?
Interesting you say, and now people commenting about fun. I've actually switched like what I actually scroll on Instagram and on Facebook. and started watching a lot of comedy, right? And that I just start laughing so much, and it does have a knock-on effect because you just forget about everything and just have a laugh, you know. So do try that. And I actually recommend that when we turn off now, you all go over to YouTube, rewind this power hour, go to the beginning, to the music, the intro music, and actually dance, because that music is just, Amber said, what music should I put? And I thought, okay, this is a Q&A. And I said, no, really upbeat, just get everybody in the mood, because it's, you know, it doesn't have to be so serious all the time. So seriously, go and check that out before you turn down your computer and go and look after your family or go back to work. Just have a dance. And yeah, great. So thank you so much. In case we don't see any of you in the room, if you just join us on Power Hours, it's a bit too early maybe, but have a nice Christmas. And hopefully though we will meet up soon, and then we can be together again as a community and have a great new year together. And as they say, community is the cure.
But just one final thing. Ben just wrote, when I don't know how to have fun because of my depression, is SOMA Breath helping me out? The way the SOMA Breath can help you out is if you find an instructor, right? Instructors are trained in delivering fun, right? That's what they do. So I highly recommend, I really want to push our instructors because they are like me replicated, right? But in their own style and character. And the whole premise of SOMA Breath is to bring fun into people's lives. So yes, Ben, if you have depression, you've done the right thing by coming on this call, which means you're really motivated already to do something about it. So the next step is just to find an instructor, right? It doesn't have to be in person, it could be on Zoom. There's a bunch of them on this call right now. And there we go. Then let's try some fun things out and see what happens.
And connect with the community. The more you talk to people, you'll find out there are other people who are depressed or have stopped being depressed. We've had a lot of people with PTSD that have come out of, you know, their sadness and upset. So you are in the right place, but don't be alone. Yeah, just reach out. I have put the link to connect with an instructor. That link there, you can just scroll down and see what the instructor profiles are, and then just connect with one of them. And that's it. Are you sure now, Niraj, that's it? Or is there any more?
That's it.
one more. Okay, that's it. All right then. So thank you so much, community. I would leave the Zoom room open for a little bit for you to collect all the links. And like Dina said, it's going to be fine, Ben, and it's going to be fine, the whole community. Thank you so much, Niraj, for your time, and for everybody that stayed inside the Zoom room and on YouTube. Thank you so much. Take care, community.
Nice.
Bye.
Cheers, everyone. Much love. Peace.